Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. Does my mic sound nice? 1 2. Does my mic sound nice? 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. BMI is in the house. Microphone check 1 2. Here I am. I'm back. Microphone check 1 2. Who's in the house? Microphone check 1 2. It's BMI 3000 reloaded. BMI 3000 reloaded. BMI 3000 reloaded. BMI 3000. Hey, check it out. BMI 3000 reloaded. BMI 3000. BMI 3000 reloaded. BMI 3000. What's going on, brothers? What's going on? What's going on? I see you. I see you. I see all my comrades in the house. What's going on, Black Toxic Masculine? It's good to see you. All of my brothers, all of my frat, my guys who are part of my tribe. My tribe. What's going on, Ab Media? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. 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 Jay, what's going on? Jay, what's up to you, my brother? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. The math professor is back in the place once again on a Sunday. It is March 3rd, 2025. It's Ramadan. It's Ramadan. Let me give a shout out to all my Muslim brothers and sisters all over the world who are observing the season, the month called Ramadan. We give a shout out to all of you in the Islamic world. What's up? What's up? Inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Wassalamu alaikum. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Bobo Anderson, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. My man, Machismo TV is in the house. What's going on, Machismo? I see, brother. Man, Machismo, you are. I was watching you early this morning, my brother. I was watching Machismo TV at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Yeah, when I can't sleep, man. Yeah, I wake up at 2:30, 2:45, 3 o'clock. I cannot sleep. And I go straight to my phone, man. I go to YouTube, and what do I see? What do I see? I see Machismo TV. That's right. That's right. That's right. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Black Scorpion is in the house. Black Scorpion is in the house. What's going on? What's going on? Good to see you. Y'all see the thumbnail, man. Y'all see the thumbnail. I'm not gonna waste time with a whole bunch of preliminaries. Y'all see the thumbnail, man. Yeah. Here we are. We are in month number 2, brothers. We are in month number 2. Christopher Clipper, good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. Look at that, man. I'm glad that you looked at the doc. Thank you for reminding us of the docu-series Yeah, guys, you can go to my my comment page, and there's actually it's a 90-minute interview that I did with the San Francisco Public Library. The host was Justin Decimalis, and he interviewed me, and we talked about my book Beyond Death in Jail. And so that video is on my comment page. So you guys be sure to check it out. All right, y'all be sure to check it out. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Good to see all the brothers in the house, man. This Sunday night. It's Sunday night, man. Thank you, my brother. 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 Ah, I know you guys watched that video, or shall I say, I know you guys watched all the footage because it has gone viral. It is all over the world. It is a rare, rare, rare occurrence. That is for us to see the inner workings of a negotiation. Talk about rare. Talk about rare. You know, as I think about the times that I have watched presidents deal with leaders from other nations, when I watched Bill Clinton when I first started voting back in 1992, such a long time ago, during his first 2 terms, and him dealing with leaders from Israel and leaders from Syria and various parts of the world, going to the United Kingdom, dealing with European leaders, going to Africa, and then watching George W. Bush do the same thing, traveling all over the world, and dealing with leaders coming to the United States. I cannot say, and even with Barack Obama, I cannot say that I have ever, 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 ever witnessed the kind of exchange that the whole world saw between Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky. Oh yeah, and let me insert Vice President J.D. Vance. I got to insert J.D. Vance. Yeah, J.D. Vance. Yeah, he's going to be the next one. He's the next one up. J.D. is the next one up, and that's why J.D. was right there with President Donald Trump, flexing his muscles, showing strength, letting the world know that we have entered into a new chapter in history. David Smith, what's happening? What's happening, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, David Smith. Good evening to you. Jeffrey Whitlock, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Salute to you, my brother. Salute to all you brothers. Salute, 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 salute. Too Watchful, thank you for that contribution. Too Watchful, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy birthday to you, my brother. We're glad that you live to see another birthday. Yeah, we get better with age, brothers. We get better with age. We do, we do, we do, we do, we do, we do. And everybody is up in arms. Everybody is up in arms, especially the anti-Trump people, the people who have Trump derangement syndrome, TDS. They're all up in arms. And I'm going to tell you guys the reason why they're up in arms is because this is not what they wanted to happen. This is why. This is why they fought so hard. They fought so hard This is why all of the Biden people fought so hard. The Obama people, that's why they fought. Kamala Harris. This is the reason why MSNBC fought so hard against this man being reelected. This is the reason why the neocons, this is the reason why the Warhawks, this is the reason why Dick Cheney came out and endorsed Kamala Harris. This is the reason why Liz Cheney came out and endorsed Kamala Harris. This is the reason why the oligarchs who are part of the establishment, the very, 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 very establishment that Donald Trump said that he was going to upend. You know, the man, when he talked about draining the swamp, I see when he talked about draining the swamp way, way back in 2016, this is exactly what this man was talking about. That you have a faction within the Republican Party, and those are the people who love war. Those are the people who profit from war. Oh yeah, yeah. We're talking about the military-industrial complex as it is tied to military industries in the United States. Yeah, 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 yeah. Those businesses that produce weapons of mass destruction, those businesses that produce guns, those businesses that supply the war efforts that the United States is engaged in all over the world. Those people who make money off of war. War, war, war. The Warhawks. Yeah, Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney. And if you don't know anything about Dick Cheney, I just suggest that you guys do some research. Y'all do some research. Dick Cheney, who was vice president under George W. Bush. Dick Cheney, who was probably the most consequential vice president in the history of the United States. Yeah, Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney, one of the most important, if not, and I'm going out on a limb, one of the most influential vice presidents in the history of the United States. You know, 9/11, the so-called war on terror, you know, it was led primarily by George W. Bush. But George W. Bush, he didn't do it by himself. He did not do it by himself. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, 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 no. George W. had his war room. What's going on, Jamal, around the world, man? Good to see you. What's happening, BMO? What's happening, BMO? Good to see you. Good to see you. George W. Bush did not do it by himself. No, 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 no. Dick Cheney was one of, if not the major masterminds behind the so-called war on terror. Yeah, yeah. After September 11th, 9/11. You're absolutely right. Mr. Halliburton, Black Scorpion. Mr. Halliburton. That's right. That's right. You were absolutely right. Yeah. And you had Donald Rumsfeld, who was a part of it. You had Condoleezza Rice, who was a part of it. I'm talking about George W. Bush's entire war cabinet during that particular era. And at that particular era, the Republican Party was the old Republican Party. It's no longer there now under Donald Trump. The old Republican Party. Donald Trump basically destroyed that party. He destroyed that wing. We're talking about the neocon, the warmongering ring of the Republican Party. This was the Republican Party that was very unappealing. It was quite unattractive to the vast majority of Afro-Americans. I'm going to tell you this, it was very, very repugnant to me. It was very, very, very repugnant. Yes. Greetings, Turtle Bitcoin. Greetings, 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 greetings. Thank you, Christopher Clipper. You're absolutely right. He was the defense secretary. You're absolutely right. He was defense secretary. That's right. Yeah, but he was the major war hawk. He was the major war hawk. And people like Dick Cheney, and those who are in that frame of thinking were adamantly opposed to Donald Trump. They were opposed to Trump in 2016, and they were opposed to him in the most recent election. They did not want him in office. They were not interested in his doctrine, which I'm going to talk about, American First. America First. That's the doctrine right there. That is a doctrine that they're living by, American First, and you see what happened with Zelensky. But let me look at the other side. Let's go to the other side. Let's look at the other side, the Democratic side. The Democratic side. Yeah, the reason why Hillary Clinton back in 2016, the reason why Hillary Clinton was out there, the reason why she was chosen, and the people that now are regretting the fact that she was chosen, but the reason why she was chosen was so that this would not happen with Zelensky. Yeah. Hillary Clinton, who also is a warmonger. Yes, she was the Secretary of State under Barack Obama, and she was a part of all of Obama's military campaigns. Yeah, she was with Obama when Obama got rid of Osama bin Laden, dropping bombs on Pakistan. Dropping bombs on Pakistan. That's right. And drones, not just bombs, but drones, sending drones into Pakistan. Yeah, and sending drones in various parts of the world, maintaining America's imperial policy. Yeah, and Obama didn't want that. Obama he did not want to see this situation with Zelensky, because remember, he was the president. He was the president, and he was the face of American imperialism, the commander in chief. So you got people on both sides. You got people on the Democratic side, and you got people on the Republican side, the Democratic establishment, and then you have the Republican establishment. And so you have both of these establishments who were adamantly opposed to Trump. They were opposed to the doctrine that Trump lives out, which is American First. That is America First. And you just saw a bold illustration, an aggressive and uncompromising, unflinching expression of the doctrine of American First. This is what we have just witnessed with Vladimir Zelensky, the president, the commander in that place known as Ukraine, as he goes against Vladimir Putin, as he loses and loses and loses and loses against Putin. American First. Listen, brothers, listen. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. when I talk about President Donald Trump and when I talk about J.D. Vance, I'm not talking about these people because I am a stan or I am a fan or what have you. No, 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 no. I didn't vote. I'm gonna let y'all know. No, I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. No, I didn't vote for her. And I didn't vote for her in 2020. I didn't vote for Biden in 2020. Had Biden been the person who went against Trump in 2024, I wouldn't have voted for him either. So, no, 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 no. But I am someone who is serious about power and how power moves and how power operates. And American First is a doctrine of power. That's what America First is. It is a doctrine of power. It is the last ditch effort of this country to maintain its status, its sovereignty in the world. That's what it is. And a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't like it. Especially the people that I have mentioned, they don't like it because for some reason, no, it's not a reason. I'm going to tell you this. You know, you have people who are Democrats and you have people who are Republicans who love imperialism. They love American imperialism. They love America being the police of the world. And they justify America's status in the world under the auspices of democracy. That is, America is this great exceptional place. America is the leader of the free world, and that America must do everything in its power to protect democracy, the idea of democracy all over the world. That is, that we must protect the world against all threats to democracy. And I should not tell you that Russia under Vladimir Putin is that number one target of American foreign policy in terms of their justification of protecting the world against threats to democracy. And beyond Russia, we've got China, as you all know. We've got North Korea. We've got Iran. Yeah, we have people. We have forces and powers that we have been told over the decades since World War II, actually since World War II, that they are threats to democracy. And we justified it under Ronald Reagan. It was justified under Ronald Reagan. All of Ronald Reagan's campaigns against the former USSR, Ronald Reagan's campaigns in Central America and South America, Ronald Reagan's campaigns assisted by the CIA. Yeah, that's when we saw this so-called defense of American imperialism all over the world at its highest. When Ronald Reagan, 2 terms, 1980 and then 1984 to 1988. That's it, brothers. And that effort to maintain American imperial policy it carried all the way through to Bill Clinton and George Bush and Barack Obama, and then there was somebody who was sitting in the wings, somebody who was plotting, somebody who was rubbing his hands like Birdman, who said, you know what, the United States needs to go in a different direction, and that is the 47th president of the United States, Donald Trump. That's it. And the reason why all of the vitriol has been extended towards this man for over 10 years is because he is a threat in their eyes to the persistence of American imperialism. And that's simply because, guys, that's just simply because Trump came around, and let me just say this, just for your information, the idea of American first did not begin with Donald Trump. It did not begin with Donald Trump. And oh, hold on, I think I'm going too fast. Hold on. Let me just explain. Let me just explain America first. Let me just explain, just briefly. Let me just say what America first is, so that we can have a clear understanding of what we're dealing with right here. What is America first? America first is simply the doctrine that says we are going to put America, the American people, and American interests before the interests of others. That's simple. We are going to put our interest ahead of the interests of other nations, before the interests of countries in Europe, before the interest, hell, of Israel, the state of Israel, before the interest of Brazil, or what we call now BRICS. We are going to put American interests first. We are not going to be the ones that put up all the capital when it comes down to policing all the world. We are not. We are not. We are not going to be the ones to put the most money on the table when it comes to this thing called democracy and peace, prosperity, so on and so forth. That these countries, and we're talking about Zelensky, these countries, particularly Europe, European countries. We're talking about France, you're talking about the United Kingdom, you're talking about Germany, you're talking about the Netherlands, we're talking about Europe, hell, even the parts of Eastern Europe. We're talking about Poland, Czechoslovakia, and now this thing called, this entity, I'm going to be respectful, Ukraine. No. No, we're not going to be the ones that put up we're not going to put up all the capital. We're not going to take all the risk. We're not going to be the ones who are going to be left with the bill at the end. Getting American soldiers killed, being caught up in endless wars. I mean, just think about this. Think about this. We were in Afghanistan for 20 years. Afghanistan. America was in Afghanistan for 20 years. Trillions and trillions of dollars was invested in terms of America's presence in an effort to so-called bring democracy to the reason in this thing of getting rid of terrorism and all that kind of stuff and setting up democratic institutions. We spent trillions and trillions of dollars in Afghanistan for over 20 years. We lost thousands and thousands and thousands of military personnel in the process. And what do you get out of it? What are you getting out of it? What do you get out of it? What happened with Afghanistan? As soon as Trump left office and Biden succeeded him, the Taliban invaded Kabul, took over Kabul, and forced the American military and forced a whole bunch of Americans to get out. He just told them to get out. It's time for y'all to go. We don't want y'all here anymore. And Biden was forced to retreat, to bring back American military personnel. They left hundreds of millions of dollars in military arsenal, weapons, and resources over there. Hundreds of millions of dollars. They didn't even bring that stuff back, according to all sorts of sources. The Economist, Newsweek, Time Magazine, the news. You can look it up. You can Google it. It's not. It ain't no mystery. All of this spending money policing other countries, spending money trying to fix the problems of other countries. In the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot going on with this thing, USAID, 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 something that was established under the presidential administration of John F. Kennedy. Supposed to be some type of humanitarian effort. It's important to know that USAID was a Cold War. It was a Cold War initiative. A Cold War. We're going to fight the Cold War. We're going to fight communism with aid. Yeah, we don't want the Russians. We don't want Khrushchev. We don't want the Soviet Union to be too influential in Africa, in African countries. We don't want them to be too influential in South America and Central America. We don't want them to be too influential. We don't want them to manipulate the minds of people there through propaganda, Soviet propaganda. So what we need to do is counter that. These countries are developing. Many of these countries are just becoming independent. They need our help. So we're going to send our missionaries over there and engage in humanitarian activity. They call it soft power. And we would use this humanitarian activity as a way of controlling those countries. Yeah, we're going to control those countries, not directly, but indirectly. Oh my God, aid. We're going to give aid. Yeah. And this is the reason why. Here's the thing. And so, you know, the liberals, the losers, the Democratic losers were losing their minds over Doge, losing their minds over the revelations that were coming out under the leadership of Elon Musk about all the money that was being spent on USAID and all the humanitarian efforts. Money, taxpayer money, that they are telling us, Elon Musk, is just being wasted and abused and given to all types of fraudulent and nefarious schemes. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We see you. We'll see you. Oh, yeah, Gaddafi. I got to say a lot about Gaddafi. You got to say a lot about that, man. Hey, what's going on? Cynical optimist, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. America first. Why are we spending all this money on these other countries? Fighting other people's wars. Fixing other people's problems. Why are we doing it? What's the purpose? Why are we doing it? And why aren't we, the United States that is, why isn't the American nation demanding that these other countries step up to the plate? Why aren't we demanding other European countries to do more? Hell, even to be an equal partner and have equal investments in so-called protecting democracy or protecting protecting the so-called free world. Germany should do more. Germany needs to spend more money. France needs to spend more money, needs to devote more military resources. The United Kingdom, they need to do more. They need to spend more money. Why are we doing this? Ukraine. Look on the map and look at where Ukraine is. And look at all the European countries that are close, that are in close proximity to Ukraine. How come they aren't doing more? They should be doing more. It makes perfect sense. But the Democratic Party, which is now in disarray, and all their so-called smart people, their heads are exploding. Their heads are exploding now. Now they're saying that because of what Trump and Vance are doing, that they're putting us in a precarious situation. That remains to be seen. But let me get back to the doctrine of American first. The doctrine of American first. America. I keep saying America. I don't know why. I keep saying American first. Well, it's the same thing. American, when you talk about the American brands, American goods, American image, American whatever, American first, American, if you talk about America as a brand, America. Oh my God, we haven't even talked about trade. We haven't even talked about tariffs or anything like that. Here's the thing, guys. The reason why Trump was very, very effective in the last election and why he was able to get a cross section of people, why he was able to create a diverse coalition, why Trump was able to do something that no socialist in the history of the United States was ever able to do. That is to create a big tent of working class people, Latinos, black people, people from various backgrounds, Asians, South Asians, you name it. Look at this cabinet. You got Cash Patel in this cabinet. Yeah, you got women in this cabinet. You know, you got Tulsi Gabbard in this cabinet. You understand? You got a black man who's over um, over HUD. You know, you've got all this stuff, man, that is happening. And he was able to create a coalition that the left has never been able um, to achieve. Never, never, ever, ever. Okay? I'm talking about a diverse coalition. And he was successful because he was able to articulate this vision about American citizens, about workers in particular, about reinvesting in infrastructure, about being concerned about American labor. You got to tap down on illegal immigration. You got to tap down on, you got to do something about illegal immigration because illegal immigration is a threat to the labor of citizens who were born here, live here, raised here, people who are going to eventually die here. Most Americans don't travel. Most Americans don't leave the country. Most of them are not expats, or most of them don't pursue an expat life, leaving the country altogether and moving to, to Europe and Africa, or moving, to various parts of Asia, moving to South America and what have you. Most Americans simply don't do that. Most Americans who are born here they're gonna die here. They're gonna die here, and their children are gonna die here. Okay. And what does that mean in terms of labor? What does that mean in terms of work? What does that mean in terms of economic opportunity? Okay. And what does that mean? What does that mean in terms of businesses and corporations and employers in this country who have business licenses in this country, who are situated in this country? What does it mean in their relationship to the American citizenry? And that you have to build up your population, you have to build up or rebuild your citizens through the economy. That you have to bring international businesses here to do business in the United States, to employ American citizens. This is the Mad Professor. This is BMI 3000 Reloaded. BMI 3000 Reloaded. This is a Sunday night. I'm talking about America first. And I'm talking about what you just witnessed with President Donald Trump, Vladimir Zelensky, and Vice President J.D. Vance in the Oval Office. We saw how the businessman works. We saw how negotiations go down. We saw how deals are made, and we saw how tension is created when you have parties that are unwilling to accept a deal when it is made, an American first deal. That's what we saw. But let me just say this. Now I need to say this for educational purposes. I mentioned this as I was talking. The American First doctrine goes back at least to the 1990s. It goes back at least to the 1990s. So when Bill Clinton first ran for the presidency of the United States, there was a billionaire by the name, a Texas billionaire by the name of Ross Perot. And Ross Perot ran as an independent candidate in the presidential election of 1992. He also ran again. And Ross Perot was someone who was serious about the American worker. And Ross Perot, as a billionaire, he was in technology and everything. And Ross Perot articulated a doctrine of American First. He didn't call it American First, but the type of political vision that he was preaching in 1992 when Bill Clinton was running for the presidency was a philosophy of American First. And he was concerned about ordinary people. He was concerned about getting people into the economy. See? And he was fairly effective in doing that. And Ross Perot was someone who just came out of nowhere, never held a political position whatsoever, successful billionaire. Like I said, he communicated his message very well. But Ross Perot, he put that vision out there. But if you know your history and you know what happened, I mean, Bill Clinton was the one who won that election, and Bill Clinton, even when he was campaigning, I mean, he made overtures to the working class, and he told working class people and working people that he felt their pain and that sort of thing. And this was Bill Clinton. This version of Bill Clinton in 1992 changed in 1996 when it was time for him to run his second term. This version of Bill Clinton shifted because Bill Clinton, he helped to usher in what we know as the North American Free Trade Agreement, which was a gross reversal of his positions that he had taken earlier in terms of the economy. At any rate, the idea of American First didn't die. Ross Perot put it out there, and it was in 1996 that another person, the former speechwriter for Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan, Pat Buchanan. Let me say it again. Pat Buchanan was a writer. He was a speechwriter. He was a journalist. He wrote speeches for Richard Nixon. He was close to Nixon. And he also wrote speeches for Ronald Reagan. And Pat Buchanan ran as an independent during that time. And Pat Buchanan had a philosophy similar to America. It was basically an American First philosophy. That is that we need to put the United States people first. Now, let me just say this. Pat Buchanan, his view of America First was articulated in ways that were, I'm going to say it, very racist, very, very, very racist. He was adamantly opposed to immigration. He came out and said that if we don't do anything about immigration, that America is going to become a banana republic. He was the first one who put that out there in the world. is going to become a banana republic. Pat Buchanan at that particular time looked at cities like Miami, Florida, and Dade County, and he saw what Dade County looked like. And he saw the Cubans, and he saw the Haitians, and he saw the Colombians, and he saw Central America and South America, and he knew that a lot of people in Miami were not there legally, and he was right, because I'm from Miami. I know Miami. A lot of folks were not there legally, and Miami was looking like a small developing country. That's when people use the word third world. It's going to be a third world. And Pat Buchanan started to say that America is going to become a third world nation if we don't get a hold of immigration. But even in saying that, Pat Buchanan was against America spending goo gobs of money, millions and millions and even trillions of dollars on wars. He was against the wars of the early 1990s. He had a doctrine where we need to stop funding wars. We need to stop meddling in the affairs of other sovereign nations. We need to focus on our country, because if we don't focus on our country, we're going to eventually lose our country. That was the message that Pat Buchanan articulated back in those days. And Pat Buchanan, like I say, it was very racist the way he articulated it, because he was really scared. He was scared of a non-white America. That's what he was. He was afraid of that. But despite Pat Buchanan's racism, there was a kernel of truth in what he was getting at in terms of America at that particular time, um, um, spending too much money on countries outside of the United States in terms of militarism. And he was also concerned about globalization and how globalization outsourced many industries. So during that time, I mean, you had all these big companies, corporations in America. They were either leaving the country, or they were outsourcing labor into other countries: Indonesia, the Congo, Thailand, Vietnam, various parts of the world, in order to produce goods that had American brands. Okay, and so Pat Buchanan was very, very clear that what America was doing in terms of globalization and NAFTA was hurting the American worker, and it was hurting America internally, and that he did not think that America needed to be a country, all right, that was just completely open, that had no type of national priorities in terms of its citizenry, that it needed to focus on its own and what was happening at home. Needless to say, Pat Buchanan, who ran as an independent, was not very, very successful, but he put his vision out there. He put that whole America first thing out there. He was more articulate than Ross Perot in talking about America first. So he was the one who kind of gave it a serious framework. Like I said, Ross Perot didn't use the language of American first, but it was Pat Buchanan who kind of put some conceptual framers around it. Okay, and Trump was listening. Trump was there. Trump was checking it out. Okay, trust me, Trump's playbook goes back to these years that I'm talking about. Goes back to it. I got 100 people in the chat. 100 people in the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for that toxic masculineness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's right. His book titled "The Death of the West." Thank you for that, Pat Buchanan. So if you guys don't know who Pat Buchanan is, you can search. You can search here on YouTube, and you can find all sorts of videos on Pat Buchanan and Pat Buchanan's position. He ran as an independent. Pat Buchanan, um, he had ties to the Republican Party, but he had very serious issues with the Republican Party, especially the neocons, the warmongers. He had issues with the oligarchs in the Republican Party who had teamed up with the Democrats in sending hundreds of thousands of jobs overseas, which eventually displaced hundreds of thousands of American workers. He was a major pillar in pushing this thing called American First. So you can see his stuff. All you got to do is go to your search bar in YouTube and look for Pat Buchanan. Okay, and so Trump was exposed to all this kind of stuff, and so basically Trump agreed with Ross Perot. Trump agreed with Pat Buchanan. Trump had entertained running as an independent, and this is when Trump was a Democrat. He was a Democrat, and he had entertained all of that. Okay, but here we are. Fast forward to 2024, and we are witnessing this doctrine that has existed since at least the early 1990s. This doctrine of American First. We are seeing it being played out in front of our eyes. He has an entire constituency, Maga. That's how he was able to get Maga as a broad coalition to support him and to push his presidency. The critics of American First. Let me just say this, guys. I'm BMI 3000 Reloaded. Thank you for the donations. I've got a Cash App BMI 3000, Cash App $ BMI 3000, $ Cash App BMI 3000. We thank you for all of your support. Trump's critics don't like American First because they say that it commits America to isolationism, that it commits America to a kind of narrow nationalism. It commits America to a kind of ethno-state that cuts itself off from the rest of the world. That is that America, when and if it is preoccupied with its own interests and it puts its own interests above other people's interests, it cuts itself off from allies. It cuts itself off from friends, actual friends and potential friends. What it does is that if America is isolationist, what it can do is it can create tension between people who have existed, or nations, entities, countries who have existed for a long period of time as American allies. And it can create and foment resentment towards the United States for focusing primarily on itself and its own self-interest. This is the perspective of those who say that America First as a doctrine is problematic because it's an isolationist, in their minds, it's an isolationist doctrine. And I have to say that to a certain degree, they're right. They're right. It does. It lets the world know that you, as a big entity, as a big dog, you got some priorities to take care of at home that you're not going to be focusing in on the problems of other nations. You're not going to be the savior of everybody. we can't say we can't save everybody, and we're not going to save everybody, especially when it comes at a high cost. So they kind of correct when it comes down to that. Now, here's the thing: um, we have no clue. We have no clue how this American First doctrine is going to play out over a long period of time. We don't. We don't. We don't. We don't. We don't. And that's because, at least since the Cold War, and there's a history that precedes that, but at least since the beginnings of the Cold, I'm not even going to say the beginnings of the Cold War, but since World War II, and we can include World War I, but since World War II is the major event in 20th century history and even world history, but since World War II, we have not had an isolationist posture towards any part of the world. Okay, so um, we're talking about the modern world. So we don't exactly know how isolationism is going to look. Okay, uh, in the world today, after having spent so many decades, so many generations, um, being the policeman of the world, protecting other countries and controlling other countries through our own um, imperialist policies. That's it. It's a real thing. So Trump being a capitalist and being a venture capitalist, that's what he is. He's always been a venture capitalist, a risky businessman, a man who was not afraid to take risks, a man who was not afraid to, go into negotiations and set forth deals or what have you, and offer people deals, and take deals off the table, or go into negotiations with other entities and look at the deals and come to the conclusion that the deals are bad and you walk away from the deal. All you got to do is read the art of the deal. If you read the art of the deal, if you read the art of the deal, um, if you read the art of the deal, you get a whiff of that. Yeah, excuse me, man. I got my phone keeps on ringing, man. And Nairobi. Yeah, I can't talk now. Anyway, um, you got to look. Thank you, ghetto. Thank you, ghetto user. Thank you, ghetto user, for that. Thank you, ghetto user. Um, man, this chick threw me off. Anyway, yeah, the art of the deal. So you just had a master class. The world just had an inside look at dealing. So you have a man who has spent his entire life in the world of business. And here's the thing, and this is key to Trump's worldview. Um, Trump sees everything through the lens of deals and negotiations and business. Trump is not looking at the morality of all this kind of stuff. You see, the liberals on the people on the left, all they're looking at is the morality of it all. Because you have these people who have these pro-Ukraine people. They have this kind of weird identification. They have a weird identification with Ukraine, and they see Ukraine as this type of underdog, um, as this type of Chihuahua going against a pit bull, i.e., Russia, that sort of thing, and that it needs America's intervention to help it the Chihuahua going against the pit bull. You understand? And we don't want the pit bull to devour the Chihuahua. That sort of thing. And that only goes so far. That only goes so far. You understand? This stuff is expensive. Donald Trump said that we are no longer going to engage in endless wars. We are no longer going to be in a situation. Remember, I mentioned Afghanistan. Afghanistan, the war on terror lasted darn near 20 years, so-called war on terror, 20 years. 20 years. Countless lives lost, okay? And, we spent a lot of money in Desert Storm in the 1990s, spent a lot of money policing Iraq, spent a lot of money on Saddam Hussein in this mythical quest for weapons of mass destruction in the 2000s. You understand? We need to get out of this business. We need to get out of this business of war. These people need to be able to defend themselves, however it may. And if they lose, they just lose. That's just it. And we have to be able to do that. People they have to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. So Trump, this is an economic strategy. And I want you black men to pay attention to this. You pay attention to this economic dealing. This is capitalism. This is political capitalism at work. So the thing that makes Trump different from everybody else is that he sees the world through business and he understands competition. He's seeing the world through the lens of economic competition. You understand? And that was the thing. That's the thing, rather, about this whole doctrine of American first. Because at the core of this doctrine is not some type of morality. It is not some lofty idealism like, democracy or equality or whatever. At the very core of this philosophy is economic growth, economic prosperity, economic self-interest. That is at the very core of this philosophy. And you have people, particularly the Democrats. The Democrats, what they want to do is they want to take taxpayers' money, the money of American taxpayers, and they want to spend all of American taxpayers on other countries. Whether it's through war, whether it's through humanitarian aid, they want to take all of our money and spend U.S. federal tax dollars on other countries and the problems of other countries, while simultaneously asserting America's imperial interests. On the other hand, you have the Republicans, the old Republicans, the neocons, the Dick Cheney people. They want American federal tax dollars to be devoted exclusively to military campaigns all over the world. The military-industrial complex. And Trump says no. That's why Trump talked about drain the swamp. That's why these establishment people don't like him. Drain the swamp. Drain the swamp. You see, he had to get rid of, and let me just say this. What we saw in 2024 in terms of, no, let me just go backwards, not just 2024. Donald Trump completely dismantled the Republican Party. Let me just start right there. Over the course of 10 years, Trump dismantled the Republican Party. I'm going to say this. Over the course of 10 years. And what do I mean by that? That is, Trump basically replaced old guard Republicans. He replaced the Dick Cheney, George Bush country club war-loving crowd. He completely displaced them. He displaced the neocons. That's what I'm talking about. Trump created a new Republican Party under Maga. A new Republican Party by bringing in working class people. He basically drove out and even marginalized those Republicans who were tied to Wall Street, who were tied to the Ivy Leagues, those Republicans who are not radically different in terms of war, in terms of capitalism, than Democrats who are also caught up in war and also caught up at the highest levels of Wall Street. So he changed the Republican Party over a 10-year period. He changed it. The Republican Party is not a George Bush party. It is not a Dick Cheney party. It is not a Mitt Romney party. Okay? You see, Robert F. Kennedy would not have a place. Robert F. Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard would not have a place in the old Republican Party. The last vestiges of the Republican Party are found once Obama left the White House. Those are the last vestiges. If you go back and you study Obama and you study all the Republicans who went at him when he was in office for 2 terms, those were your old Republicans. That's your old guard. The old guard who attacked Obama during his 2 terms have been effectively displaced. Thank you, TIQS. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that support, my brother. Thank you for that support. So over a 10-year period, he replaced the old guard and brought in a new batch of Republicans, now MAGA. Now, here's the thing. In 2016, MAGA was primarily working class and white. But in 2024, MAGA has expanded. It is not just working class and white. MAGA is working class and Latino. It is Black American. It is Asian American. It is African. It has so many different elements. Not only that, you have to also include the fact that a lot of people voted for Trump who were Democrats. There were Democrats who voted for Trump, Democrats who were disenchanted with Biden and Harris and Obama. They voted for Trump. There were independents who voted for Trump because they were tired of the Democratic Party and they wanted to punish the Democratic Party. So you have right now under Trump, you have a different Republican Party that is diverse, and you also have defectors who are not Republican. You have people who are not Republican. They're still registered Democrats. They are still independents, but these people may, over time, particularly if Trump does well and if JD is successful in going forward in 2028 and 22, these people may ultimately change their affiliations and become Republicans. So there's a possibility that in 2028 and 2032, that the Republican Party will be light years away from what it was when Barack Obama left office in 2016. Thank you, TIS. So we're dealing with an entirely different enterprise. Now, on the other side, the Democratic Party also dismantled. He dismantled it. No one saw it. No one saw it coming. The Democratic Party was completely bulldozed. I want you to think about this. Think about a bulldozer. You guys see, you all know what bulldozers do, right? Bulldozers. Bulldozers. You know what a bulldozer does. You seen construction sites. Construction sites. You know what a bulldozer does to an old building or a dilapidated building. It's time to create a whole new structure. We got to tear this building down, and the bulldozer goes right through that building. Just goes right through it. And the effect of 2024 was that Trump was a bulldozer, and he basically drove through and over the Democratic Party. He just demolished it. He demolished it. No one saw it coming. He demolished the liberals in the Democratic Party. He demolished the left wing through the popular vote and through the Electoral College. He demolished the Democratic Party by winning the House, by winning the Senate. He demolished the Democratic Party by having a Supreme Court that is thoroughly, thoroughly conservative. Demolition man. Demolition man. And part of the Democratic demolition includes the neoliberals who are imperialist, the neoliberals who want to spend American tax dollars fighting other people's problems in other countries, who want to spend tax dollars promoting particular ideologies, social justice ideologies that nobody signed up for in other parts of the world. Principally LGBTQ ideology, okay? These people have been exporting through the federal government these ideologies, exporting these ideologies to other parts of the world through humanitarian causes linked to the American government. And these people also want to maintain a doctrine of endless war. They want us to remain in war in various parts of the world. And you have to ask yourself the question, who benefits from the war economy? Who benefits from all this kind of stuff? Who is benefiting from all of this humanitarian stuff that is tied to the federal government? Who are the nonprofit organizations? Who runs the nonprofit organizations or the non-governmental organizations all over the world who are being funded by the federal government to propagate ideas in Africa, in South America, in Central America, in Southeast Asia, and other parts of the world that have absolutely nothing to do with the interests of the vast majority of the United States, of people in the United States, okay? So, we are in a new chapter in history. And an entire generation is now watching Trump and Vance especially an entire generation of men, of young men in particular, and they are watching how power works, how power moves, how power is uncompromising, how power does things that are unpopular. Unpopular. Let me say this. Let me say this about. I'm just going to make a confession to you guys. I'm going to make a confession to you guys. If there is one thing that I admire, and there are more than one thing, Trump is a mixed bag in so many ways. If there is one thing that I like in Donald Trump, is that Donald Trump doesn't care about being liked. He doesn't care about being popular. Donald Trump is not afraid to make hard decisions. If there's one thing that I like about Trump, he is not afraid of making difficult decisions. He scares the bejesus out of the establishment because they think that he's a reckless man who's impulsive and what have you. And that's why when he was first elected in 2016, there were so many concerns about Trump and the nuclear codes and all this kind of stuff. And he was able to demonstrate that, no, he wasn't going to be reckless with the military. He wasn't going to be reckless. He wasn't going to put us into a world war. Now, I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. And the reason why I didn't vote for Trump in 2016 is because I had that concern. I was like, this man has never held public office, and the presidency is something that you don't play with. You understand what I mean? And we're dealing with big entities in the world. And so he didn't win me, so I didn't vote for him. But fast forward, he served one term, what have you. And over the last 10 years, I think that he has, kind of moderated some of his more impulsive instincts and what have you. But the point I'm trying to make, guys, is that you can't be a leader and also have an obsession with popularity and being liked. You just can't be a leader and want to be liked. And this type of policy, American First policy, to push a policy that has not been pushed before, you have to take the risk of unpopularity. They're talking about him all over Twitter. They're talking about him, the etiquette around that and the consequences. Oh my God, what's this going to mean? He did not, treat Zelensky right or what have you, and he'd send him back home and everything. And this is not how it's supposed to happen. And I can hear, Barack Obama talking about democratic norms and all this polite nonsense that he is known for. I can hear Obama talking about all kinds of etiquette stuff that he's known for. But Barack Obama is someone who likes to be liked. He has a hard time making hard decisions. And that was always his one of his weaknesses as a president, is that he likes to be liked and he likes people to like him. And that makes him cautious. And that makes him less of a risk taker. Okay? And that's one of the biggest problems that he had when he was president. But here we are, guys. Here we are. We're only 1 month in. 1 month in. 1 month. And we are watching the 47th show. That is the Donald Trump 47 president of the United States of America. the chief executive, POTUS, okay? And we are watching power at work. We're watching plans being unfolded, plans being executed, and we're watching the disruption, and we're watching the chaos. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I love it. I love the disruption. I love the chaos. I love the fact that the swamp is being drained right now. The swamp, it is being drained. The swamp that consisted of the old Republican Party, the swamp that consisted of the neoliberals in the Democratic, completely being drained. Yeah. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of the doctrine of American First? What do you guys have to say about America prioritizing its interests and its interests first? America prioritizing its citizens. Think about this. When it comes down to the United States military, this president says that we don't want to waste human lives. We don't want to waste our military fighting the problems of other countries. We need a strong military. And we need a strong military that's going to fight for American interests, particularly when American interests are at stake in the world. That we cannot be the saviors of everybody. And that these countries are going to have to stand on their 2 feet. And they're going to have to demonstrate. If they're weak, they're going to have to do everything within their own power to become strong. And that we're not going to have a colonial but paternalistic relationship with the rest of the world. That is not the kind of relationship that we're going to have. And that we are going to secure our borders, that we are going to make sure that our trade relationships, and not even talk about that our trade relationships with other countries benefit us, that they benefit the American economy. You know, I had to really think about it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been thinking about this doctrine for a long time. And as someone who is a political thinker, who is independent, and, you know, I never really identified myself with conservatism. And, you know, there are parts of me that have been affiliated with liberalism. And there are parts of me that have always been connected to what I regard as a kind of radical understanding of the world, that you have to deal with material conditions. I really believe that politics means nothing if you're not dealing with material conditions. If you're not dealing with how people actually live in the world, you're not dealing with anything. If you're just giving people hope and change, and you're just giving people platitudes, if you're just talking about democracy and equality in the abstract, and you can't see it borne out in people's everyday material lives, and you're not doing anything. But I had to think long and hard about this doctrine of America first, and especially the critique of the doctrine in terms of isolation. And I had to come to the conclusion that once you strip it, like, the problem I had with Pat Buchanan, I had this problem with Pat Buchanan. The way Pat Buchanan in the 1990s, the way Pat Buchanan articulated America first, it was just very racist. In the 90s, when Pat Buchanan was pushing America first, he pushed it in ways that were very, very racist. And yeah, it was just very racist. Now, Ross Perot, like I told you, Ross Perot, he never used the language, but that's what he was pushing. Ross Perot, his vision was very robust. Ross Perot in 1992 had a very attractive vision. But again, Ross Perot was an independent, and he had a hard time, going against Bill Clinton in 1992. And Ross Perot, it wasn't his idea. It didn't come off racist, but Pat Buchanan, it came off racist, and so that was always the problem for me, is that American First there was so much. It's kind of like MAGA, make America great again. When Trump started promoting MAGA and all that kind of stuff, the problem that I had with the idea of MAGA was like, what do you mean, make America great again? Make America great again. What does that mean, again? And what do you mean by great? And how are you defining greatness? Is this some romantic notion that you're going to in the past or whatever? And what parts of the past are you talking about and whatever? And yes, that MAGA stuff, it came off very. It was guilty. It was guilty of its racial kind of overtones. Now, I don't identify as MAGA. You're not gonna see me walking around with a MAGA hat on. I'm not gonna walk around with a MAGA shirt. I'm not a MAGA anything. Okay, I'm an independent. um, but I will say, at the core of this vision is American self-interest, self-preservation, and American sovereignty. I didn't get to mention Steve Bannon, and I'm gonna do a stream. I don't know when, but I'm gonna do a stream on Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon, who is the person who was pivotal in Trump's election in 2016. He was the chief strategist and everything like that, and he's still doing his thing. But he is a theoretician. He is a theoretician of America first. He has the nuts and bolts of it, the history of it, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to real soon talk about Steve Bannon and break him down. But at any rate, guys, this stream, I have gone over an hour. I wanted to get this off my chest, man, because this meeting with Zelensky just spoke volumes about this new administration and where we're going right now. And I would be remiss if I didn't say anything about it. And in the future, I really want to, we got to break this down, guys. We got to really talk about power and what is power, how power moves, how power works, all those things. We have to really, 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 really break that down, man. And think about it, since this is a black man space, and think about what this means for black men going forward. Okay, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Yeah. Yes, Black Lion. Good to see you, Black Lion. If it helps us, absolutely. If America first helps us, we must embrace it. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Salute to you, Rogue Peel. Salute to all the brothers. I'm glad you guys tuned in this evening. I'm glad that you tuned in this evening. It's good to see you guys. It's good to see you. Yes, Ad Media, it is in shambles. It is in shambles. I don't think that the Democratic Party can come back. I really don't think. Matua, good to see you, Matua. Trump transformed the GOP. Yeah, he transformed it. Good to see you, Matua. Good to see you. 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 Dr. Thunder, yeah, it is. It is. The Republican Party is a big tent. It is a big tent. Good to see you, Dr. Thunder, man. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Salute, salute, salute. Salute, 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 salute. It is a big tent. This is historic, guys. You would be a fool even if you didn't vote for Trump. You would be a fool to ignore this. You would be a fool to not take this seriously. You would be a complete fool. And I'm just saying that for those who the Trump deranged people. That's for the Trump deranged people. Trump deranged people. Thank you, Big Mo, Aiden, man. Good to see you, man. Thank you, Big Mo. Don't worry, we worried. Don't worry. Yeah, I know. They're always trolls. They're always trolls in the chat. They're always trolls in the chat. Not worried about them. Not worried about them, my brother. Yeah. But hold on. Did I get you wrong? Some hitters. We got some hitters. I don't know. Did I read you incorrectly? I don't know. You were talking about hitters in the chat. Now, if you mean we got some hard hitters, if we got some intellectuals up in here, yes. If that's what you mean, that we got some intellectuals up in here, we got some policy people up in here, yes, we do. I think I might have read you wrong, Black Lion. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we got hard hitters. That's right. There we go. That's right. Yeah. I hear you. Hey, you can't miss them, Big Mo. You can't miss the Orange Man. You can't miss the Orange Man. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna get on out of here, man. There's so much I want to say. And there's so many other people I want to talk about. Like I said, for the next 4 years, I'm going to be doing commentary on this for the next 4 years, guys. And I want to go into the brain trust. I want to go into all of the people, the thought leaders. I'm going to cover conservatives. I'm going to cover the libertarians. I want to talk about all of the voices, all of the chattering people who are influencing how voters will behave, in the future. I really, really do. Tucker. I mentioned Steve Bannon. I want to say some things about Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson said something. He did an interview recently with Piers Morgan, and talking about the election. And he talked about, I'm just going to put this out there, Tucker Carlson talked about liberal white women. And Tucker Carlson, he says that there is a group of miserable postmenopausal liberal white women in this country who hate Donald Trump. And he said that these postmenopausal liberal women who are cat ladies, they're cat ladies. He says they're mad because they don't get to run the country. He says they want to run. Tucker Carlson said that they want to run the country and they want to run it badly. And they were hoping that they can run the country through Kamala Harris. But that didn't happen. And I just found that so interesting, hearing a white man talking specifically about a demographic. He said post-menopausal liberal white ladies, cat ladies, who are Trump deranged and who hate where we are right now. At any rate, guys, I'm going to leave you brothers with that. I'm going to leave you brothers with that. And let me see. Frederick Tukes. Oh, good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Glad that you are in the house, Frederick Tukes. Shout out to Claflin University. Yes, I taught at Claflin. I taught there for 7 years. I taught there for 7 years, my brother. I surely did. I surely did. State of South Carolina. I surely did. Good, man. You were in a good place. It's a good place to teach. It's a good place to start a career, my brother. It surely is. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about this stream in the comment section once I sign off, man. I am BMI 3000. This is another Black Men's Independence presentation. I am out, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Have a good rest of the night. Peace. This is for Charles Faulkner. Woo!